We are now recording. So this might look familiar, if clauses, because we did them last week. Okay. But these are a different kind. It's what we call the second conditional. Last week was the first. This is the second. So these are ones that are not real, not true. They're imaginary, or you at least you think they're not possible. Okay. So, different kind of if clause. You're going to see a lot of the rules are the same, but the grammar changes depending if it's true or not true, if it's possible or not possible. We're doing the not possible and not true ones today. Okay, so we use the second form of if clauses. Oh my goodness, I have a typo. That should be of. If clauses to talk about what's true, not true, excuse me, imaginary or impossible. All right. First example. If I studied, I would learn more. So this is something that's not true. I'm saying if I studied. But the truth is, I don't study. Okay. This is an example, okay? I actually do study and work, but if she won the lottery, she would travel around the world. But the truth is, she hasn't won the lottery. She's just imagining it. She's saying it's probably never going to happen, but I'm imagining if she won the lottery, this is what she would do. And then if I were president, I would change immigration policy. Okay. So again, something that's not true. I'm definitely not thinking it's possible. I will never be president. Okay. But if I were, sorry, Jenny, you're thinking of all kinds of ideas for that, aren't you? Okay. I can tell. Okay. All right. So these kind of if clauses are the ones that are not true, imaginary, or impossible. Here's what I want you to look at. Look at the verbs.
Past and future?
Not quite. Almost there. If I studied, what tense is that? What kind of verb is that?
Past.
Studied.
Past.
It's past.
Past.
You remember last week we used present. You use present if it's true or possible. You use past if it's not true or just imaginary or not possible. All right, what about this part?
Present.
Future.
Present.
It's not future exactly. Okay.
Present continuous.
No.
Present.
Present continuous is the am going.
Done.
Would is another kind of modal. Will is for sure. I will do it. Would is if.
Maybe.
It depends. It's more like a maybe. Yeah. So, but this would be it depends on the first thing. If I studied, but I don't, I would learn more. So if I could change the situation, then this would be true. Because would is kind of like a future, but if. It depends on the other thing. Will is like, yes, I will. If you need to look at this word in your language, I will not be angry. Okay. Because I want you to get this idea. Okay. But this is the difference between true or possible, not true, not possible, imaginary. Okay. So if I studied, I would learn. If she won the lottery, but she didn't. And that's how we know it's not true, because that's in past. Okay. She would travel. If I were president, we're going to talk about this in a minute because the verb be has a special rule. I would change. I can't say will because I'm saying something that's not possible or not true. So I can't say will. Because will is like true. Yes. Okay.
So you just we just you would not will.
Correct. Because will is
Yes.
sure. Will is
Yes.
true. And sure, this is not true. Not sure. Not happening. So it's the one of those, it depends. Okay. If is one of those very small word in English that has a lot of meaning.
Like the politic say to us.
Oh, good Lord, don't go that way. All right, so I'm going to get out of here for a minute. I want to show you something. So this is what I typed up earlier. Okay. So here's comparing what we did last week and what we're doing now. If I win the lottery, I will buy. So we're saying this is possible. We're thinking it's possible. Hey, I play the lottery every week. You never know. Okay. It's possible and it's what I will do. So that's present and then your will plus verb. Okay. What we're doing today, if I won, I would buy. I am thinking this is not going to happen. I'm not going to win the lottery. In my head, I'm thinking, no, that's just not possible. I'm never going to win the lottery. Okay. But if I won the lottery, this is what I would do. So this uses past and then the would plus verb. If you actually look at the sentences, they're very similar. So which verbs you use make a difference in meaning. This one, you're thinking it's possible. This one, you're thinking this is never going to happen. But if it happened, this is what I would do. All right, everybody okay on this?
Yes, I know.
So far? Okay.
Yeah.
It's always, we'll see when we get to the practice. All right. Oops. Lost my slides. There we go.
I think you gave some for example for
Oh, yeah. Lots of
yes.
examples. Oh, yeah.
a bit to do it.
Writing and talking. Yeah, both.
Yes.
Oh. So there's still cause and effect, right? It's still, if I studied, I would learn. Studied is first, would learn is second, right? So it's still cause and effect. It's just imaginary and it's not true right now. But it's still the if thing happens first and the would thing would happen second. So the truth is, I don't study. But what if I did? This is one of my favorite ways to describe this is what if. What if? What if I got angry at my teacher? The teacher would feel horrible. Okay.
Students. If
All right. So if I studied, I would learn. I don't study, but what if I did? So you're imagining something that's not true. What would be the effect? All right. So look at those three.
mhm.
Okay, so for the first one, if I didn't exercise, what would happen if I did not exercise?
You're going to be sick, I think.
Say it again, Teresa.
You're going to be sick if you're not exercise.
I would get sick. I would be unhealthy. Anything else? I can tell you I would gain weight.
Gain weight. Yes.
Okay. So remember, whenever you see that pass, it's something that's not true at the moment. So when I say if I didn't exercise, it means I do exercise. But if I didn't, if that changed, well, then something else would happen. All right, how about the second one? If he got a better job, what would happen if he got a better job?
You would get
Born.
more money?
He would get more money. There you go. Or he would find a girlfriend. This is California. Okay. All right. If they came to class every day,
They don't be learn nothing.
they would
They would
learn.
may pass the test.
They would pass the test. Yeah. No extra verbs, please. They
I'm
would
sorry.
learn. They would pass.
They may
They would pass
improve
the test.
their skills.
Say it again, Mario.
They might improve their skills.
Oh, I didn't think about using might this way. Usually we just use could with this. They could.
Might we can use it in might.
Good.
See, the problem is might is usually like a sure thing, like a yes.
Mhm.
And for these, since we're saying they're not true, that's a good question. If they came to class, they might improve their skills. You know what? I think you'll be okay. I'm going to Google it, though, to make sure I don't tell you something wrong grammatically.
Yeah.
I know we use could.
Okay.
If they came to class, they could. Because could has that maybe, you know, that
Mhm.
not sure thing. But since might, I just know we use might with the positive, not the may, you know, not the not true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Usually we use might with something that's true. I'm going to look it up. I don't want to tell you the wrong information.
Gotcha.
Good question. Hold on, I gotta write that down. Might in second conditional. Okay. I'm going to consult my grammar stuff. All right. So here's the ones that I wrote. If I didn't exercise, I would be overweight. Remember, when you see that past, it's something that's not true. So when you see if I didn't exercise, it means yes, I do. Okay. If he got a better job, he would make more money. Again, when you see that if plus past, that means this is not true. So he doesn't have a better job. If you want the true or possible, then you have to use present. And last one. If they came, I have passed the test, but if they came to class every day, they would pass the test. Okay. Again, came and passed, which means it's not true. They don't come every day.
That's true.
Okay, well, I guess.
I'm thinking mights in my head now. If they came to class every day, they might pass the test. You know, I think that works. They
But
came to
then-
class every day, they might pass the test.
We are assuming in
I'm not assuming. That's why I want to look it up. Because I don't want to assume, because you know, English is crazy. If they came to class every day, they could pass the test. If they came to class every day, they might pass the test.
If they came to class every day, they good. They good. Speak. They good speak in the line negative.
They would speak English what?
Line negative.
Oh, like a native. Like a native. Okay.
Native or negative.
Native.
Native.
Yeah,
Yes.
negative means no.
Oh no, native.
Native. Yeah,
I
there
know.
you go.
Thank you. I
The
speak
old
like native.
pronunciation. I tell you, pronunciation. Okay. Okay. Mario, I promise while you guys are practicing, I'm going to look that up.
Okay, I don't want to lose
All right.
points.
Because now I'm really thinking about it myself. Okay. Okay, so here's the grammar, which we talked about a bit already. So it's if plus past. Okay.
Good.
If plus past. And then the effect is would plus the verb.
Good verb. Please verb.
And this is kind of a weird pronunciation for a lot of people. Would.
Good. Good.
You got to go, ooh,
Would.
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 Mhm.
Would.
Would.
Good.
Would.
My grandma couldn't say a W. Okay. She was German. So instead of like will, she would say will.
Well. Good.
Grandma, it's will. But she say,
Well.
I know, I will.
Well.
Okay. So this is what I had on a slide, which I may have to redo. So honestly, the only one, generally what I see with this is could, because could has that same feeling of would, meaning it's not true right now.
Cool.
But we do use could as like a maybe, so I'm gonna check it out. So same rule, if plus past tense and then could instead of would. If I didn't exercise, I could gain weight. If he got a better job, he could make more money. Okay. If the children ate a lot of candy, they could get cavities. Okay. So I put examples on could here. Would is still the most usual. Okay, would is still the most usual for this because you're talking about effect if this happens. Okay. But yeah, could I've heard, and now I'm thinking might. Of course, now Mario's going to make me think about may too. If they come, they may pass. If they came, they may. No. If they came to class, they may pass the. Ew, that sounds weird. Like I said, sometimes, I have to say it. And does this sound like a native speaker? And then sometimes I have to look it up because, yes, I'm an English teacher. Yes, I studied linguistics, but nobody knows 100% of their language. That's
Yeah.
not possible. There's just too much. Okay. So I will look that up. Okay, so here's the one where we get different. The verb be. You will discover as you study English that the verb be never follows the rules that all the other verbs follow. It just doesn't. It always has to be different. Okay. So, when we use the verb be with these second if clauses, the correct form, the grammatically correct form is actually were for any subject. So, if I were, if you were, if he were,
They,
if it
they
were, always were. Okay.
Mm.
Now, if you're not saying if, right, you would say I was. I was a student in 1990. Right? So typical I was. Okay. But for this conditional, like I said, the grammatically correct rule is just using were. If I were president, I would change. The most typical of this, if you've ever heard anybody say, if I were you. If I were you, usually when they're about to give you some advice. If I were you, I would practice conversation with native speakers. If I were you, I would da 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 da. So very typical. But in conversation, you will hear people say, if I was. So if you're just having a casual conversation with somebody, oh, if I was rich, I'd buy a house. But if you want to sound like you really know your grammar, were is technically the correct form. So same thing here. If he were a better salesman, he could make more money. But again, if you're just having a conversation with somebody, oh, if he was better at his job, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I just wanted to show you the difference here. Technically, were is the correct one. Use it in writing. Okay. But if you're talking to somebody, a lot of people just use was.
Teacher?
Yeah.
It does. It does mean we can use word in the writing or speaking for any subject. For
Yes.
example, I, you,
Yes.
they, she, it. But in the conversation, you can to use words.
Yeah,
Words.
in the
Yeah,
conversation for I, he, she, and it, you can use was. A lot of
in
people
the
do.
speaking. In the
A lot of
speaking.
people do. Yeah.
Only speaking. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I would not use it in writing just because it's really not correct, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, if you're having a conversation with somebody, it's
It
okay.
was- yes.
Okay. Yep. Okay, so yeah, so this is the idea. Like I said, the verb be always has to be different. Okay, so negatives. Oh my God, I got another typo. Okay, I'm gonna go change a bunch of stuff on this PowerPoint. See what happens when you copy and paste? Okay. So again, you can use negatives. Okay. If I didn't exercise, I wouldn't be fit. If we didn't study, we would make the teacher unhappy. If they didn't come, they wouldn't pass. If she woke up late, she couldn't get to work on time. All right, so same kind of rules. You know, you just have to remember if plus past, would or could plus verb. If you do negative for the if part, remember it's going to be didn't is going to be your past, and then the verb you don't have to change. Okay. If you're doing positive for past, then obviously you need to change it to the past form. Same thing again, you can change the order. You can put the would part first and the if part second when you make the sentence. Same meaning. If is still the cause, would is still the effect, but you can change the two parts. I would gain weight if I didn't exercise.
We
You
can
would,
sweep. We can sweep.
you can switch. Yeah.
Yes.
You can switch the two parts. Yes.
Yes.
And it has the same meaning, but remember your grammar.
Mm-hmm.
If goes with the past, and then would goes with the verb.
Perfect.
Yeah, just remember the grammar. But yes, it means the same, the meaning is the same. Okay, whichever way you want to say it is fine. My teacher would be happy if I gave her $1 million. If I gave her $1 million, my teacher would be happy. Same meaning. Punctuation. This is the same slide. Okay. If the if part comes first, you put a comma. If the if part comes second, you don't need a comma because it connects the two parts. So I included a slide comparing the two. So here's what we call the first conditional. True or possible. Uses present and future. Second conditional. Not true, untrue, imaginary, impossible. Uses past and then the would or could. And perhaps might. Okay. So that's the difference. So like the example I showed you earlier about the lottery, if I win the lottery, you're thinking, hey, it's possible. If I won the lottery, you're thinking this is never going to happen. But if it did, okay. So some sentences will be, what are you thinking? Are you thinking possible or not possible? And some we just know are not possible. So if I said, if the world were perfect, is the world ever going to be perfect? No, it's not possible. Okay.
Good, could. The second conditional.
If Trump were dead.
Almost.
Oh, now I just recorded that too. Okay. Hopefully he doesn't watch my YouTube channel. Oh my. Okay. I think that's my last one. Yeah. Okay. All right. So everybody okay with this? Everybody still breathing?
Yes.
Yeah, we good? We'll see what happens when we do the practice. That'll be the big test. All right, let me get out of this. Since I found a typo, I need to go change. All right, so let's do, you can do this on paper or you can do this in the chat. I'm going to give you a few examples to finish. Okay. All right. So finish those with a would or a could. I'm going to be Googling. Mario is correct.
We can use might.
You can use might. They said the difference is it's not as certain. Like if I say if I won the lottery, I would buy a house, that's like more sure. And if I
Okay.
say if I won the lottery, I might buy a house, it's not 100% sure. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just like we did in present, right? If I win, I will, or if I win, I might. So, yep, good. Thank you. I'm going to change my PowerPoint. All right, I'm going to add that to my PowerPoint. Yeah, they said the same thing I did. Would is the most common, but you can change it to might, and it means not as certain. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to know. This is why I love teaching intermediate. Because you guys have so many good ideas and questions, and I learn stuff every year, every semester. Yeah, Jorge, your first one's good. Yeah, like I said, you can do this on paper or in the chat.
Yes.
Let me pause. Okay. So what I'm looking for is really the grammar here. Okay. So if I could only watch one TV show for the rest of my life, I somebody's got to have the word out there.
I was says.
No. I what?
I could be.
I would
Watch
Thank you. I would watch.
The Simpsons.
What would you watch?
The Simpsons.
Oh my God, The Simpsons? Are you serious?
Yeah.
For me, it's Law and Order, but one of my students in the morning said I would choose. So that's another one you could do. Okay. But this is the idea. Remember, could is also past tense. So it's a little tricky there. So if plus past, okay, would plus verb. Okay. I could die of boredom. Boredom, Jorge. Let me spell that for you. The noun is boredom.
Oh,
There you go.
all right. Okay.
That's a good one. I'll put that up here. That's a good example. I like that. All right. All right. If she had a bigger salary,
I could buy a new house.
I
I
She.
could I could buy a new house.
If she
I
had a bigger
see.
salary.
See goodbye. See good.
There you
Buy
go.
a new house.
Mhm. Anybody else? Different idea? She would
Go around the world.
go around the world. I only got two people talking today. What's up with that? Okay. All right. If we lived near the ocean, Brenda, Jenny, Teresa,
We
somebody
could
who
do
hasn't
that.
talked.
We could walk every day.
We could walk
Yeah,
I will go to fishing.
on the beach.
yeah,
Yeah.
on the
Let's
beach.
say on the beach every day. Yeah. Because we can walk every day without the ocean, but yeah, okay. We could go fishing.
Yeah.
Yes. You good to see the sunshine.
There you go. There you go. You'd have good weather. We would have good weather. So there's lots of things you can do with these. Okay. But yeah, this is like I said, the grammar is what I really want you, grammar and meaning is what I really want you to pay attention to. So that past tense with the if and then the would or could or might. Okay.
First.
Here, I'll put a might in here. Let's put one might in there so we have an example. Okay. So like I said, this is what I wanted to get down today is really that grammar. The verb tenses, because you know verbs in English. So many things, so many variations. Okay. Might go. Okay. All right. Nice job, people. Okay, so I'm going to give you some if clauses to finish in practice. All right. We'll probably just do the if parts tonight and the would parts tomorrow because I don't want to rush it. Yeah, nice job. All right, let me finish the recording here.